Hi, good evening and welcome to the Magic Show. A happy Ganesh Chaturthi to all of you. And I'm seeing that the turnout is very low today. So we'll have a brief session anyways, and it will be interesting. As usual, our mantras: don't work hard, work smart. Knowing is not doing, doing is doing. So practice all the time. Our next session next week will be on Excel tips and then on productivity apps on 1st October. And on 8th October, we'll do something called whiteboards, which will be interesting. Today's session is essentially on Windows only. So some Windows tips and tricks. A whole lot of stuff is available to us in Windows. Only thing is we don't use it very often. Oh, is it because of KBC? Then we should also run our contest here. So we can enjoy KBC out here also. Any case, so Windows, we'll do a few tricks. We'll have a short session today. But if you observe carefully, lots of small things are available to us in Windows. Lots of times we use external apps or additional add-ons rather than Windows itself for a lot of stuff, which we will see how easy and how convenient it is to use in Windows. So let me share my screen, and most of the things I will do will be on my basic desktop. So let's see how we go ahead on this. 1 second. Can you see my desktop?
Yes, D.
Yes.
Okay. So we have some simple tricks which we can straight away use from within Windows itself. So the first thing that we are talking of is a calendar. How many of you use an electronic calendar or a physical calendar, first of all? How many of you use a physical calendar? Let me understand. You can unmute yourself and talk. Today we are a small.
Yeah, we use physical calendar as well as on the computer.
On the computer, what calendar do you use? You use a Microsoft calendar or a Gmail calendar? Google calendar.
It's a gadget. Then there's Google calendar in Google.
There's a Google calendar in Google. There's a Microsoft calendar also.
Yes, I draw my calendar like this.
Sorry?
I draw my calendar like this. So it has the English date and it has the Roj and it has what I have to do. So it's this big.
Oh gosh. So, okay, lots of people use Google Calendar, lots of people use Microsoft Calendar, and now Microsoft and Google, they start interchanging. So Microsoft has a calendar which is built in Windows. You don't need a separate app. Where is it sitting? It is sitting on the bottom right of your screen. Can you see this where I'm pointing?
Yeah, that is there.
Yeah, it's there. Most of the people will have it. So here you have option to add 2 more timings. Like I have added London and Dubai.
Yes.
But you can have any number of timings, but 2 more timings we can add on the calendar. London and Dubai I have got, but as I said, if you go to setup of the calendar, you right click and you say adjust date and time, then you can create your date and time. You can set up automatically. You can add more stuff here, region wise, language you can choose, and speech you can choose, but we are not getting into that just now. We are just looking at the calendar just now. So here you can even add an event or a reminder directly here. See, now most of this in my case is coming from my Google Calendar, but you can that means Microsoft is also accessing Google Calendar. So I have some birthdays, I have some events which are there in my Google Calendar, which are automatically reflected here. But if I want to add an event here straight away, I can add an event here. So I can say I have a meeting with board members. I can select the time. I can say it is 10 a.m. and I say okay, and I say save. So now this gets into this date at this time. And then there are other options. If you click on the calendar, again, then you have this entire calendar as you normally see it. Now he has picked up my Google Calendar straight away and shown me all the things. Okay. Now here, meeting with board members, which I just created, has been added automatically. Okay. So it's a very, very simple way of adding stuff to your calendar. Just click on this bottom window. Are you able to see that? Or you can either hide the agenda or show the agenda. So if you don't want to see this, then you can just click on it and you can see only the rest of the calendar. Okay. And of course, you can do some planning by going to future dates, earlier dates, etc., etc. You can just click on something, say show agenda, and you can add some events. Are we clear on this? So on the taskbar itself, you have this access. You don't have to open the calendar. You don't have to go to your browser and open a calendar and then do it. So it's very, very straightforward. Adding something to your calendar. Okay. Then we also have alarms and clock built into Windows. Have you tried that ever? You just see, most of the time I'll go to my start button. Can you see on the bottom left? I just click on the start button and then I'm just typing alarms and clock. So if I just say alarms, I'm seeing this. You can try it with me. Now, when you go to alarms and clock, this app is already built into Windows. So most of the time you'll have it. You can create a timer. Okay, so it can be for, it is a countdown timer. So it can be for as many minutes, seconds as you want. You can create an alarm. You can create an alarm for a certain time. There is something called a world clock. So here you can see the time at multiple locations at a glance. So this is also very useful if you are using your calendar or your alarms and clocks on your cell phone, on your Android phone. You have this option also, but here also on the desktop you have this option. So you don't have to look at any new app. The only point I'm making here is you don't have to look at a new app. And suppose I want to add any cities, I just say on the bottom right, I have add new city. And here I can type whatever city I want. Suppose I want Illinois. No. I don't want the same time zone. So let me see if I can select something else, say Paris. So I can just click on this and I get the time of any city anywhere in the world. It's just a matter of clicking. And there is one more option here where I click on it. I'm sorry, I right click on it and I can say pin to start. If I say pin to start, what happens is, do you want to pin this tile to start? I say yes. Then what happens is when I go to the start menu, I will be able to see the time here straight away. Okay, I don't even have to open the app. Okay, so I can just move it up. I can move it to the top. Okay, so anytime I want to see the time in Paris, I can straight away Where did it go? 1 second. Pin to start. Yes. And then when I go here, I should be able to see the time here. Okay. So it's very simple, because if you are dealing with some collaborator or some branch anywhere else in the world, you should be able to see it quickly. The basic settings are there where you can use the theme and change the notification settings. So if you have an alarm, you may want it to ring, you don't want it to ring, you want it just a pop-up, whatever you want to do, you should be able to do. So alarms and clock is very, very simple. Just click on start, type alarms and clock, just say AL and it will open up. And you can see the whole timer, that is a countdown timer. You have an alarm, you have a world clock, and you have a stopwatch. So you can straight away start a stopwatch.
But does it really ring like an alarm?
Let's see. Sorry, let's say countdown timer. I'll say. I'll just say 5 seconds. Start. One second. I think there should be a setting to make it.
Yeah.
It has to ring, otherwise it has no meaning. No, why is it not ringing? It should ring. Actually, there is settings, I think, change notification settings. Let us see in the notifications. So get notifications from apps and other senders. So I might have disabled this, possibly in the notification. So if I switch it on, then automatically it should ring. Although normally I use the timer and alarm on my phone. Normally I don't use it here, but it should be in the notifications. At notifications, if I save it.
Maybe because it's a timer.
No,
It's
no,
not
no.
an alarm.
Timer. Yeah, here it is.
Oh, great. Okay.
So
Yeah.
there is a notification on my other screen. I'm using 2 screens. So, there is a notification on my other screen, which gives me the sound as well as the message. So you could even put a message for the alarm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
If it is 7 o'clock, you can say good morning, etc. But then obviously your machine has to be on.
Yes.
You can't expect your machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, you can have a shortcut to the world clock that we can keep. The shortcut, see again, the shortcut is very simple. When you say go to alarms and clock. I'm sorry. Okay, 1 second. I'll just show you. You are able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah. So when I say alarms and clock, I can pin it to the taskbar. So when I pin it to the taskbar, it comes down below. So I can access it directly from here. I don't have to. Okay, so then I can go to world clock or whatever last I was working on, that will pop up. So a shortcut is simple. Either I pin it to the taskbar or I pin it to this thing, unpin from the taskbar, and I can make a shortcut. So when I say alarms and clock, I can say pin to taskbar, or I can say 1 second, alarms and
Pin to start.
pin to start is here. It comes here. It's already here. So
Yeah.
alarm, 1 second. No? When I say alarms and clock, so here I have pin to start, pin to taskbar. Okay, so and I can straight away right click and push it here. So then it is always there. So either I come here and say alarms and clock here, or I can pin it say here. When it comes to start, it comes here. Just as we did that city time, you can just click on this and straight away and the last access thing will be visible. So you last access this, so this will be visible straight away. So, or you can pin it to the taskbar as we saw. I can say pin to taskbar, so it can come down below. So you just, whatever app you are in, you just click here and you can straight away put it on. Or even if you want to have it constantly on, you can resize it and put it on a side. So while you're working, you want to resize this. Okay. So it can be hanging in one corner all the time if you need to look at it often. Okay. So this is very useful if you are dealing with multiple cities at the same time, with collaborators, with friends, family, etc., etc. Okay. So these are the two things regarding your calendar, alarms, and clock. Now, Windows by default, it keeps a lot of apps in the background. And sometimes what happens is more number of apps in the background, it eats into your memory and it slows you down. So Windows also allows you to control what you have in memory. So you just go to start and just type background apps. Can you see this background apps? When you open this, you can decide which apps you want to run in the background. So if whatever you are not using on a daily or regular basis, it doesn't mean that the app is not going to open. It will open, but it will take maybe a second more. So when I'm using, say, alarms and clocks, I want it on because I want it in the background, but audio wizard, I don't use it often. Or my camera, I don't use it often on my desktop. So I can switch off so many apps, which makes life easier. Mobile plans, I don't want it. Notification manager, I don't need it. Office, I don't mind, but OneNote, I don't use often. Paint 3D, I don't use often. I can go on switch off. Normally by default, a lot of things are switched on. So I can just switch off certain things. Okay. And what happens when I switch it off is it gives me a better performance on Windows. So there is an option. It is optional, totally optional. You can turn background apps on or off, or you can say, I don't want any app to run in the background. I can just switch off all. And whatever I need, I will use it whenever I want it. Or I can switch on selectively, or I can switch on all, whichever way I want it. Okay, so this is something which you might want to do when your computer is a little sluggish. One more thing we will see what to do for a sluggish computer. But you can switch on or off your background apps. Very simple. Just go to start, type background apps, and you will get your background apps, and you can switch them on or off selectively. Okay. The next thing is interesting. You remember, those of you who have been with me for a while, they would know that there is something called dictation software. Maybe very early days, I think last June or July, we did dictation. Anybody remembers that session?
That's it. IO.
Yeah, dictation.io. That was the site in which we had done dictation. Then there was in Google also, in Google Docs, we saw how we could use dictation. Then in Microsoft Word, we saw how we could use dictation. You remember all that?
Yeah.
So when you go to Word, you open Word and there is a dictation button here on the top right. So you can just click on it and start talking. When you start talking, it starts listening. Okay. So it's very simple. So whatever I'm saying, it keeps on typing it until I say stop listening. Okay. Now it's not listening. So these are all specialized stuff. But now in Windows itself, you know, we are all trying to be as lazy as possible. So if I open a new, say, a text document, okay, and where is it? Okay, it's going to my other screen.
We can see it's on your screen.
Okay, can you see the text document?
Blank.
Yeah, blank document. It's a notepad. I have started a document in a notepad. Can you see the blank document?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I want to dictate here. How do I do it? There is no dictation button here. There is nothing. But once in a while, I normally like to use the notepad for brief notes, or if you remember the sticky notes that we talked about, there also I could be wanting to type something, but I am feeling very lazy to type. So Windows allows me to dictate anywhere in any text box. Okay, so I just have to press the Windows key and H. Can you see now what has happened? On the top, you see it is listening. Period.
Yes.
Oops. So it keeps listening and it keeps typing whatever I am saying. Okay. So whenever I have a pause, it will stop. So I just have to click this and then it will start typing immediately. The minute I say something, it keeps on typing. Okay, now the beauty of this is when you type this, I'll say don't save. Now suppose I open a new browser window. Let me see if I can open a browser window. Okay, I have a new browser window. Here also, if I say Windows H, Amazon.com. Okay, it's just typing it immediately. So I am not typing the whole thing. I am just using the dictation tool. Are you able to see this? I'm just saying Windows H, activating this, and then typing. Okay, when I say activating this, it types activating this. How do I use dictation in Windows? How do I use dictation in Windows? Can you see how easy it is to? This is hold down the Windows key and press H. Start dictation. So anywhere it sees a text box or anywhere there is a text input, whether it is in a notepad, whether it is in a browser, whether it is in Excel, wherever there is a window or which accepts text, this will straight away work. Are you getting this? There's a microphone. You just click on the microphone. If it is disabled, and when it says it's listening, that time you can
Start
start talking
Okay.
or stop talking. Okay, it said start talking. Okay. So it's very, very sensitive. It picks up very fast, but this is a very simple tool to start dictating. So sometimes you are just taking notes, quick notes somewhere or the other. So it's very easy to just dictate. So when you say new text document, you start this Windows H, and now you can start talking, you can start dictating, you can do whatever you want.
Did you train Windows to do this?
No, no, no. This is the beauty of the whole thing. There is no training required.
Okay.
Because when you set up Windows, you will also say you want English. So
Yeah.
English, there are, if you remember in dictation, there is Indian English and there is American English and there is English English. So you have various options, and it will, I would say dictation 90 to 95% accuracy is now achieved. Once upon a time, there was some training and then you had to read an entire para, and then Windows used to understand what your accent is, etc., etc. But now it is very, very simple. You just say Windows H and start.
Okay. Because Google makes you say, hey, Google, hello, Google.
No, no, but here you are also giving, remember, you are giving a command.
Okay.
You are saying Windows H to activate it. It just doesn't come on its own. Okay, so here you are giving a keyboard shortcut, Windows H, and it starts typing. So this is as simple as it can get. You can straight away start dictation. Then if you remember, we had talked about the clipboard. Do you remember that in one of the Windows tips programs,
Yes.
we had talked about the clipboard. So we go to settings, go to Windows, then settings. Sorry. Open settings. Okay. And then in system, there is something called clipboard. So when we said clipboard history on, you remember Windows and V. Instead of Control V, we said Windows V, and you get all the things that are in your clipboard, correct?
Yeah.
Now, if you're using multiple computers, this is the beauty of it. So if you're using one computer at home, one computer in the office, and both are linked to your same Microsoft account, you can even sync across devices. So if you've done something on a clipboard here on your office machine, when you go home, you can say paste, and it will paste whatever you've taken on the clipboard in your office machine. This is really very, very useful. Okay, paste text on your other devices. When this is on, Microsoft receives your clipboard data to sync it across your devices, and you will say automatically sync the text that I copy. So automatically, whenever you copy something, it goes in the clipboard, it holds it in the Microsoft service in the cloud. And when you say paste, when you go home, you want to paste it. Suppose it's a paragraph, or it is something which is important. It's a telephone number or something which you have copied. You want to paste it on your other device, you can straight away go and paste it in your other device. This is also very, very useful because sometimes you know how it is, like clipboard, you only get the last one that you have copied. Last time
Yeah.
we saw in Excel and in Word, etc., we have that clipboard memory where you could go to that small arrow on the top left and pick up. Now this is universal, this is across Windows. So it may be Word, it may be Excel, it may be anything else. It may be a browser also. So for example, if I am in a browser, let me see if I can start something new. This is my browser. and say I am on yahoo.com and I'm looking for, say, farm laws. Okay, so I'm just picking up one para from here.
It's taken everything.
No, 1 minute. It was my mistake. Okay, so I've taken this. I say Control C. Now it is in my clipboard, correct? Now if I
Yes.
say Windows V, it is there, correct?
Mhm.
Now if I go home, I open my Word file. Let me open my Word file or say a text box, new text document. I go home and I want to paste it here. I can straight away come and paste it here.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is very powerful. It could be from a browser, it could be from a Word document, it could be from anything. The minute it is in your clipboard, it gets into your history. And if you have clicked this sync across devices, then if you are using multiple devices, you can be anywhere. Of course, you should be logged in with the same Microsoft account. Otherwise, you will be able to see somebody else's clipboard. That is not allowed. So if you are having the same Microsoft account, then automatically you will be able to carry your clipboard across devices. This is very, very useful.
But does it have a certain number of days when it stores the data?
No, it is infinite until you, even there you have an option until you shut down the machine. But even if you shut down the machine, there is something called clear clipboard data. You have this option to clear the data, but it is forever.
Oh, great.
I think when you shut down the machine, no, but even then, if it is across devices, there's no question of clearing it when you shut down the machine.
There may be a number of messages which it may.
No. It stores it in the cloud. You can't really store huge like megabytes of information. These are all very small bits. When you're doing copy paste, these are all small bits of information. So the memory is very, very minimal.
Okay.
So you can do it across devices. That is the beauty of having a clipboard across devices. So you got it, how we enabled it. What we did is we went to settings, system, and clipboard. Here we said sync across devices. Normally it is disabled, so it is always a good idea to go and enable it. And when you say clear clipboard data, what happens is it clears the data. So now if I say Windows V, okay, there are still some items which are coming up. So I have cleared from my current session probably. There are something which are there. Any case, so this is how it works.
Yes,
Then,
G.
yeah.
Sorry. It's Control V to paste it, but when we are copying it still, no, it's Windows V to paste it across syncing.
Yeah, when you're copying it, Control C, that is the same thing.
It's still Control C. Thank you.
Yeah. So when you say Control C, it gets into your clipboard. Then Control V will give you only the last copied item. Windows V will give you multiple items which you have copied. So if you're doing some research and you want to move paragraphs from here to there, etc. So obviously you want multiple items in your clipboard,
Okay.
which you can use by using Windows V. Okay.
Yes.
Then the other thing is only one or two more things for today. This is something interesting. Again, if your computer is sluggish and you need some help, you go to settings and you look at storage settings. Okay, so just type storage settings directly, you can run to that. or you can get into system and then storage settings. This is the place where you click. Okay. So what happens here is there is something called storage sense. It can automatically free up space by getting rid of files you don't need, like temporary files and content in your recycle bin. So this is very useful because many times you have so many temporary files, like I have got 40 GB of temporary files. Okay, so I can just click on this and see what are the temporary files that I have. And then it says you have so much in your recycle bin and you have so much in your Windows update cleanup, recycle bin, system error, memory dump files. These are all required for diagnostics, but you don't require them all the time. So you can straight away say, remove all these files, whichever I'm ticking here. So I want to remove my, so I'm saving 6 GB of space. Okay. Now, the other thing is that if you go here, there is an option, one second. There is also an option to see there are temporary files. I don't require all these files. Sometimes these temporary files help when you are using your browser, etc. It picks up from the local cache. But sometimes you don't just require it. So you can just go there, go here and remove it. And when you say storage sense on, then you can decide when to remove it also. So you can say that if a temporary file I have not touched for the last 1 week or last 1 month, just delete it. I don't need it anymore. Okay. So this becomes very useful to clean up your computer. Okay, you have large files. Okay, so and on my other screen it is showing me all the large files. The point is that you should be able to automate this entire thing. Okay. So you have this temporary files. It refreshes every time you go here. And it gives you a detailed description of each of these elements. Windows keeps copies of all installed updates from Windows Update, even after installing newer versions. But you can say, okay, after I know that it is working fine. Sometimes the new updates can misbehave. So you can keep the Windows Update files. But once you are satisfied that everything is fine, then you don't need to keep all these. So you can just go here and just say, I want to remove these files. Okay.
Okay.
So this is a very simple tool to see. Now you can have these various options when you are keeping storage sense on. So it says when storage sense will run when the disk space is low. So during low disk space, you want it to run, or you want to run every month, or you want it to run every week, or you want it to run every day. Once a month is a reasonable time to have. Temporary files. So when do you delete the temporary files? Delete temporary files. Never delete them. Delete them after 1 day, after 14 days, after 30 days, 60 days. You understand? And then you can say clean now. So you can clean up all your files. So if your storage sense is on, this can be automated. You don't have to come here again and again. You can automate your settings and say temporary files you just remove once in a month. So you don't have to worry about that. A lot of people use third-party programs for all this, but Windows has this inbuilt into the system itself.
Some of us use %temp%. That gets rid of the temporary files.
There are lots of other, like CC Cleaner is there, which automatically does this or does it periodically, etc., etc. But Windows itself has.
Yeah, this is good.
This is very good, but very little known. People don't know about this, and therefore they don't use it, obviously.
How did you go into it, Yasdeep?
System and storage. Settings, system, storage. Or you can just type here storage settings. Straight away you can go. You come right here. Okay. So when you come to settings, you have all these options. So most of these things which we saw just now are in system. You had storage, you have clipboard, battery, power and sleep, focus assist. Focus assist is also something very interesting. It allows you to focus on what you are doing. So a lot of times, a lot of notifications keep popping up on the right bottom. So I don't want them. I don't want to be disturbed when I'm doing something and I'm focusing on something. And when I enable focus assist, all my notifications are dumbed down. So you don't get to see any of those. One last thing for today I want to share is ease of access. There is something called ease of access. Can you see it here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now here you have lots of options where you can make the text bigger across the board throughout Windows. So, so people who are getting older can just increase the size of the text.
Does the Mac have similar things, YesD? Or
I'm totally zero on Mac, so I can't, but I'm sure there must be something.
Magnifier.
So one option is make text bigger. The other option is make everything bigger. So all the icons, etc., also become big. So you can say 125%, 150%, 175%. Everything becomes big. Then there is something saying make everything brighter. So you can set your brightness contrast. So this is a little duller. This is brighter. This is very bright.
High contrast.
Okay. So there are lots of things that you can do out here. So make text bigger, make everything bigger means all the icons and size of apps, etc., everything is bigger. Change the size of apps and text on other displays, change the text and color of your cursor and mouse pointer. So if you go to your mouse pointer out here in the left, change the pointer size. Now see my pointer size. Can you see my mouse pointer size?
Yes.
I can change it. Now can you see it?
It's looking smaller.
Huh? It's looking smaller.
Yeah.
It is huge. Is this looking smaller than earlier?
no, it's bigger. It's bigger.
Yeah.
Yes, don't worry. But you know, you've got two. No, you've got two cursors.
So this
No,
is
it's right. It's small.
this is
Make it big.
minimum. This is maximum. This is minimum.
Okay.
This is maximum. Okay. So on the size, it is just showing you this is the small one. This is the big one. So you're just
Magnifier.
okay. And you can even change the pointer color. You want, instead of transparent white, you want it black. You can make it black. Now see the pointer has become black. Or you can make it inverse. So on white, it will show black. On black, it will show you white. Or you can even change the color. You can say, I want the mouse pointer to be pink. Or
But yours is not changing color or anything.
this is not changing color.
No.
Even the size is the same.
Oh, I don't know. Then it's not showing on the screen probably, but you can try it out. You can try your mouse pointer. And if you have a touch screen, of course, you can make some changes here also. There is something called magnifier, which when you turn it on, then everything will become magnified on the screen. You can straight away have a reader. This part we have covered in an earlier session.
Probably when you're working on the desktop outside the settings, maybe then the pointer would be bigger.
Yeah. So
Cursor.
you can try it out yourself.
Yeah.
But these are the options you have. One is the display text. One is the mouse pointer, the text cursor. You can turn on text cursor indicator. Magnifier, high contrast. So when there is difficulty in reading, you can change the contrast to high.
Mm.
So you can, oh God, what happened?
Pure blue.
You see some change or no?
Yeah. It's changed to black background.
Black background and it has become white. So I'll just switch it off. Okay, so you can switch on high contrast, then you can select a theme. You can have a colored rectangle to customize high contrast colors, etc. So there are lots of settings here which can customize on how you use Windows.
Yeah, Steve,
Yeah.
there is a choice here. Control the mouse with the keyboard, turn on mouse keys, and then you can use the numeric keypad to move the mouse around the screen. Is that possible?
Numeric keys, but arrow keys you can use, not the.
Here it is saying, I have one over here, and make the mouse easier to use. And it says here, I have not tried it. I don't want to change now.
Be careful when you play around with the settings because
I don't want to try it out.
normally it allows you to go back.
Control the mouse, mouse pointer. This is control the mouse. It comes under ease of access interval.
Control your mouse with a keypad.
Yes.
Turn your mouse keys to use the numeric keypad to move the mouse. So numeric keypad is that up and down keys are on the numeric keypad. Okay. So that is how you can.
You don't need the mouse, I think, then.
No, but then mouse is so much easier. Yeah. You know, if I'm using the keyboard to control, means I have to go so many steps up and so many steps left. It is a little, but again, sometimes your mouse is not working, or sometimes the old person is not very comfortable with the mouse. He wants to use the keyboard, fine.
Okay.
There's something called eye control. Okay, there is a whole lot of stuff out here. But I suggest that you play with this mouse pointer and display and the text cursor keys, magnifier keys. So a whole lot of stuff you can customize by going to these ease of access settings. Okay, that comes somewhere here. And that is where we stop for today.
Always in this section.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it. Any thoughts, any questions?
As usual, always adds to our knowledge and skills. Thank you.
So in Windows, there are lots and lots of hidden stuff, and you can always explore on your own also.
Always in this section.
So whenever I think of the next session, I start exploring and I myself discover so many new things. It's not that I have been using all this all the time, but maybe from today I'll be using some of these also. So it's not necessarily that everyone knows everything all the time. But if you explore a little, but when you are going into settings, be careful, because if you set something differently and you can't get back, then it is a problem. But normally it is quite easy to handle it. And as you say, see here, link your Android or iPhone. You can link your Windows device to your Android or iPhone. You can control your Bluetooth devices, speech, region, date, what we saw earlier. Then apps when you install, uninstall, all sorts of stuff out here. So that's about it. Any questions? We can take some questions, or we can wind up for today.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Yeah, good night.
I must tell you, the snip tool is very useful for me.
Which one? Snipping tool.
Snip.
Yeah. The snipping tool is very useful. It means we normally use it on a daily basis.
Cut and paste.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plagiarizing something.
But
And actually,
after we did that Snagit, that has become my favorite now, because Snagit is giving.
And sticky notes and snipping. These are used regularly.
Yeah, good.
And also this Epic Pen.
Epic Pen. Yeah.
Corrections and all with papers and whatnot. So the Epic Pen comes in handy.
So that's also very useful. In fact, when we do Windows whiteboard, you will see some more fun stuff. We will, you can explore it yourself. And when
Okay.
we do it, we'll see how easy it is to handle it.
I want to say thank you for Excel. I've been using that filter, the filter, in the data tab. I've been using that extensively. That's really very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. The data filters and all, we'll
Yeah.
explore some new stuff in Excel. Flash fill also is very useful. I
Yes.
don't know how many of you use it, but
Haven't used it, but
those are certain things which, and they are very simple and easy to learn, understand, and use on a day-to-day basis.
yeah.
Thank you for the feedback. In fact, if we have more feedback, we know what more to explore. Thank you and good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
The Everything app was very good.
Sorry?
Everything app.
Everything. Okay, yeah.
That
To
was
search.
amazing because I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
searched on my computer that it all gets lost. So the everything was very good.
So you,
To delete multiple files because I have files in different places.
yeah.
All duplicates.
I know, and it's very difficult. The folder system sometimes can get unwieldy when you have a lot of stuff. You don't know whether it was in your work area or your home area or your X project or Y project, and everything can get everything.
So thanks.
Thank you.
You.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.